time for that because that's important in life. My name is Matt Horvat. I'm the coordinator of the Student Watershed Watch program. This is my 12th year of doing this, but it's always good, it's always new, it's always a little bit different. To welcome you here today, it's a great review, and thank you all for filling the seats in. Actually, if you hadn't have sat in front to start with, we would still have to fill the house up, so it's pretty good. So again, I'd like to thank you for coming, and I'd also like to thank our sponsors. Without our sponsors for this program, you guys really, this wouldn't be happening, right? You'd be sitting in school looking at a book, right? Who likes to just sit in school and look at a book? It's two of you. If you'll leave the room now, we can get you back to a book. I'm kidding. No, but I think getting out and actually experiencing what you're learning and putting things in context is a great life lesson and a really great way to internalize some information. So thank you to the City of Toledo and the Lucas County Stormwater Utility, also to Perstorp, the Toledo Refining Company, the Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, formerly known as Jeep around here, First Solar, and GM. And also, if you're looking on the back page here, you guys can follow along too. It says, with additional in-kind support. These are the other people that I beg and sort of exchange favors for. These are folks that come and help out. We all work together. We're all working on similar issues, water quality, the environment, our community. So everybody down there, Earth Force, the Nation Conservancy, the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, University of Toledo, Soil and Water District of Toledo Zoo, and Channel 24. We're all partners in this. This is how things get done. So with that, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker this morning, Ms. Shanon Nabors. She is the, thank you. She is the chief of the Ohio EPA's Northwest District Office. She's been there for, we'll just say 20 years, maybe a little bit more. She doesn't look like it, so she's not as old as some of the furniture there. And she was nice enough to agree to come in and speak with you folks this morning. So again, a warm welcome for Ms. Shanon.
Good morning. All right, a little bit more. You were louder before we even started this. Let's try again. Good morning. Good morning. Excellent. All right. Well, as Matt said, my name's Shanon Nabors, and I work for the Ohio EPA. So how many people have heard of EPA? All right. Excellent. I would hope so because of the reason you're here. So Ohio EPA is, we're basically state government. So there's the US EPA, which is the federal EPA in Ohio, and we kind of do the same things and we help each other out. And so here in Ohio, we have the Ohio EPA. And basically we work on protecting the air you breathe. We work on making sure your drinking water is safe to drink. We work on protecting our rivers and lakes, which is a lot of what you were learning. Sorry, I'm timing myself. We'll just turn that on. And we do this by using environmental laws. So we have like rules and laws that people need to follow and that we have that set what makes what we think is a clean environment, and we work towards making sure that happens. So a little bit about kind of where we are. This is a state of Ohio, and that star in the middle is Columbus. So we have a headquarters office in Columbus. A lot of government agencies have a headquarters, and then they have different field offices. So I work in a field office in Northwest Ohio. Our office is in Bowling Green. I live outside of Bowling Green in Pemberville, right down from Eastwood. So I see a group of Eastwood kids here. Yeah. And basically, the field offices do a little bit of work that's different from our headquarters office in Columbus. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about what our employees do, what kind of work that we encounter. We have a lot of different things that we do at Ohio EPA. So a lot of our employees come come from a wide variety of areas, but a lot of science backgrounds. So we have people that work in biology, we have chemists, engineers, geologists, we have people that work in labs, but we also have attorneys and accountants and people that work in communications. So we have a lot of different types of backgrounds of individuals that work for Ohio EPA. It makes it a really interesting place to be. But, and as I said earlier, you know, we do a lot of things, but basically if you think about keeping the land clean, keeping your air clean, keeping your water clean. Those are the things that we focus on. And part of the way we measure that is we monitor the air. So throughout Ohio, we have over 250 air monitors that we manage, and we go out and we collect samples and we check the air quality. And we do that to look for things like ozone and different kinds of contaminants that might indicate whether or not we need to be looking to make the air a little safer in certain areas throughout the state. And we also work to see how clean the water is. So we'll take samples, we'll do different kinds of tests on water, we'll collect fish to see how healthy they are, and we'll also look at other kind of aquatic creatures, which I think some of you experienced some of this as part of your Student Watershed Watch. And I have a quick video to show, just to kind of demonstrate a little bit how we, so how do I get this going? You can hit it. Okay, so this is going to be a video of our director, who's my boss, talking about a little bit what Ohio.
So hi, I'm Craig Butler, Director of Ohio EPA. Today we're outside the village of Delta in northwest Ohio, outside of their water plant. And we're at a little place called Bad Creek, where we're taking some water chemistry and some fish and bug samples to really talk about two things. One is the process that we go through collecting aquatic insects to help us judge water quality. But it's also a bit of a celebration in that this is the culmination of a 15-year process in Northwest Ohio to do this type of water quality assessment for the entire Maumee River watershed, including the main stem and all of its tributaries. So we go through a process to determine if it's fishable and swimmable, like we're going through this aquatic investigation. So we come out and we take samples of fish, and we take samples of aquatic insects that really help us gauge where there are any impairments or problems in the waters, and that really then gives us baseline data. So our scientists at Ohio EPA can then develop an action plan on how we and our other state and federal partners can address sources of pollution so that we meet that goal in the Clean Water Act that they're fishable and swimmable.
Today, we're just doing a qualitative sample here. We collect any of the habitat that we have in the riffles, in the runs, which is the deeper water that's flowing along the margins where you have roots, maybe you have sticks, we look at wood. Here we have riprap, big concrete pieces, there's insects that are on the sides of those. Any kind of habitat we collect to try to find what is there in the community. Stream insects, mussels, fingernail clams, anything that you can see with your eye in the stream. Midges, which are the small things maybe the public calls gnats, but there's hundreds of different kinds we ID. And with all the insects we collect, some are sensitive, some are generalists, and some are more tolerant. So based on the community diversity we find and what predominates the community, we can tell, have a good indication what water quality is.
What we do is we have a generator that puts out pulse DC current, and so we'll go through a segment of stream about 200 meters, give or take, and we electroshock the fish. We collect all the fish and we sort them down to species, and based on the amounts, the types of species present there, and the different proportions of these species, we can make inferences on the overall health and what's going on in a stream system.
So we use it as a way to determine and restore health, as well as also preserve some really pristine streams. So the one that I would suspect a lot of people may be familiar with in central Ohio is the Big Darby watershed. It's one of, or maybe the best and highest quality water resources that we have in the state. Knowing that has helped us and land use planners and developers around central Ohio, which has a lot of development pressure, accommodate development, but also do it in a way that doesn't degrade water quality. We put actions in place at point sources through permitting, non-point sources with the Department of Agriculture, where we've really shown an improvement in health. And we judge that by coming out and taking additional samples of aquatic and fish resources.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit of a glimpse in a video clip that kind of shows the work that a few of the people that we have at Ohio EPA do when they're out collecting samples. But we don't, that's not the only thing we do. We have a lot of employees who do a wide variety of other things. And here's some pictures of some air sampling, some groundwater sampling. And we'll take soil samples. We'll go to old, maybe contaminated properties, or where a really, really old dump store before we had environmental rules and laws, and do investigations to see if they're posing any kind of danger to people that live around them. We also have our own lab, so we have a laboratory in Columbus, and they do a lot of testing for a lot of different samples. And since the blue-green algae, the toxic algae, if you've heard of that, has become more and more prevalent in Ohio, the type of work that they're doing down at our lab becomes more and more important. But just a few years ago, to give an example, they basically analyzed over 11,000 different samples at our lab in Columbus with about 10 staff. So that's a lot of work all year long that they do. They do a lot of water sampling in the summer for us. When we collect those fish, we actually freeze them. And then when they're not collecting water samples in the summer and through the winter, that's when they do a lot of the sampling of all the fish tissue. So we also, we do a lot of inspections at industries and businesses to make sure they're following environmental rules and laws, to make sure they're doing things in a way that are going to be protective to the environment and to the people that live around their facilities. And we also inspect drinking water and wastewater plants. So the local governments or municipalities that make your drinking water that you drink, if you're not on a well out in the country, we'll inspect those facilities and make sure that they're producing water that's safe for you to drink. And in addition, we'll inspect how they're constructed. We'll inspect how sewers are constructed. We'll make sure that landfills are constructed so they protect groundwater. And just to we have a lot of rules and requirements to make sure things are done in a safe manner. So a lot of engineers and inspectors that make sure that happens the right way. We also investigate complaints. So people will, you or other people that live in your area, will call our office and say, hey, something doesn't look right. And they'll ask us and they'll give us information. We'll try to get more information from the people calling in so that we can go out and look into something that someone thinks is suspicious. Sometimes it's not a problem, and sometimes there are some issues and concerns that need to be followed up on. So these are just a few pictures. A lot of times we'll get people who are dumping back in the woods, and family members or other people that live around there that are concerned about that. And we have a lot of plans and permits that we look at. So we have to write a permit to let someone construct, and we look at plans on how to construct those landfills or drawings that people create to make sure that they're constructing a sewer properly or a wastewater treatment plant properly. So we have a lot of staff that spend a lot of time looking at those plans and making sure that when people build things, they're going to be constructed safely. We also oversee cleanup of polluted sites. So a long time ago, before you all were born, before I was born, we didn't have environmental laws. So people managed properties and they managed their waste in such a way that they didn't maybe know that it was even going to cause a problem. So because of that, we have historical problems that were created years ago that need to be worked on to be cleaned up. And we also still have people that may not be aware of regulations or ignore regulations, and they create also environmental problems. So we have to investigate those and make sure that sites are cleaned up properly and not posing a threat. The picture over there is an aerial photo of the largest scrap tire site that we had in the state of Ohio several years ago. It was called Kirby Tire. You can see where it's partially being expanded. That site, many years ago, caught fire, and it was the largest tire fire in history in the state of Ohio, and one of the largest tire fires in the country. But what we also work on is taking sites that look like this and helping businesses and towns make them sites that look like this. So going from this to this so that we can reuse sites that used to be dirty and gunked up and clean them up so that we can put new facilities on them and use them for better purposes in the future. And one of the other things that we spend a lot of time doing, we have a lot of specialized trained staff throughout the whole state of Ohio that respond to emergencies. So down here, this picture, that's really hard to see. That's actually a mercury spill, and they're working on trying to clean up mercury. There's a train derailment out there, so when there's hazardous materials that are spilled, that are posing an immediate threat to the people that live around them or workers, we'll go out, we'll work with fire departments and other emergency response people to help make sure that those emergencies are dealt with quickly and in such a way that people are safe and that things aren't released into the environment that might affect the wildlife we have in Ohio too. We investigate fish kills and oil spills. And we also give out money. So we give out money to towns and cities to buy equipment to build water treatment plants and wastewater treatment plants. We give money to people to build recycling operations. We give a lot of money to try to start up businesses for recycling or to construct facilities that will help produce your clean water that you drink every day. We give money out to retrofit school buses. So how many of you have ever smelled the stinky exhaust out of a school bus? There you go. See? So we'll give money to schools to help put some devices on the buses so that the exhaust that's coming out of them isn't harmful to students if you're standing there breathing it. And we also spend time teaching people how to protect the environment. So our involvement, Matt earlier said that Ohio EPA helps him. Sherry over here behind, like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, she helps put on a lot of educational events around the area, and we have a lot of staff that go out and help do those kinds of things too. We encourage young scientists by sponsoring the State Science Day, and we have Governor's Awards for Environmental Excellence. And lastly, to those of you that might be thinking about going into environmental fields in the future, we offer college scholarships, and all that information can be found on our website. So, anybody have questions? Questions? Yeah? Way in the back? Go ahead. Can you holler your question out a little louder?
How long has the EPA been founded? When was it founded?
1972. Anything else? I actually have a question for the crowd. So when you started your project with Student Watershed Watch, how many of you, it was the first time you got to play in a stream? All right, very good. Go ahead. All right, somebody has a question? Go ahead.
Why is this happening to all the rivers and streams over the years?
Why is what happening? Like pollution?
Why is it happening to all the rivers, streams, and people on the earth? Why do people not care about the environment that we live in?
I think there's a lot of people that do care about the environment that we live in, and all of you here are a testament to that. And I think that what I've seen in the time that I've been with EPA EPA's things are getting a lot better. We used to be, you saw some of those pictures of the really old yucky sites with the drums on them. You know, things have gotten a lot better, but we also still have challenges, and the world is changing, and our environment is changing, and as scientists, we have to keep studying it and figure out how to adapt to what's happening in the environment and the changes that keep kind of having us take twists and turns. And so a lot of what's happening now with our rivers and streams are, we got rid of the really major problems over the years, and now we're left with some challenges that are a little bit harder to manage because it's not pollution that comes out the end of a pipe. It's pollution that maybe just runs off. It's called non-point sources, and so there's a lot of different ways to have to control that and figure out where the pollution sources are coming from. And I think there are a lot of people that are working together to try to solve those problems. Yes?
How many, have you ever been to Mommy River and pollution?
Have you ever been to the Maumee River and cleaned up pollution?
Yes, I have. Actually, TMACOG and Ohio EPA and Partners for Clean Streams offers, in the fall every year, they have Partners for Clean Streams sponsors a watershed cleanup, and a lot of that cleanup happens kind of in the area. And so I've personally, I've been in the river digging out yucky stuff. So probably to keep you on track, we should probably wrap this up. Thanks for the questions, I appreciate it. Thanks for your attention, and enjoy the rest of your day.